menacing and troubled. He didn't keep my husband at all. He simply said thanks, climbed into his car, and left. I never heard from Ryan again, and thankfully, I continued my way. The whole scenario was probably nothing, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I got something to worry about. In hindsight, it just seemed to keep probing, see how far he could push the situation before I would start to react. I misjudged everything from start to finish, and felt like a dummy for putting myself in danger. I guess if you're gonna make online sales, that's just the name you're getting.
On your mark. Get ready. Go. Triangle. Video. Drive off.
At Any Chance Grampian, we are looking to recruit anaesthetists, obstetricians, and a range of other specialists, offering flexible work plans to balance what matters most to you, Lane's direct clinical care and on-call commitments with your professional pursuit. Be part of the community, both inside and outside our Scotland practices, where we are currently seeking to fill roles in anesthesia and specialty medicine. Grow your skills, shape our future. Apply now.
I've been searching the Facebook Marketplace for weeks, trying to find a decent laptop. My old one died, and I couldn't afford anything new. I found a listing of a rarely used MacBook Pro at $400. The photos look legit, with the protective film on the screen, original box, and all the accessories. The seller's name was Kevin. His profile looked normal enough. He had maybe 50 friends, and a few photos of him at what looked like baseball games. His messages were delightful in detail. He said he got the laptop as a gift, but already had one for work. He sent me a video of the sealed box with that day's newspaper next to it to prove it was new. I was sold. He was an independent doctor, and I was excited. There was nothing on the listing that he was in the area. But when I asked where to meet, he said he'd actually driven to visit family and was 45 minutes north and asked if I could meet him there instead. I wasn't thrilled about the drive, but $400 for that laptop was too good to pass up. I was sending him a flyer to work for the lab and promised I'd buy the dinner for the night. She agreed. Kevin suggested meeting at the town's public park.
Closed in at a sickening pace. I could feel a pile screaming at my throat from my anxiety. My desperation that led me out there. The tears began blurring my vision, but I knew the car was my only hope. I kept playing with the stick until it clicked. The car jumped into reverse and suddenly I was rolling backwards, the way I came. That dirt road was bumpy and uneven, but for the most part, it was a straight shot. I didn't even bother to use a mirror at first, just started jetting backwards as quickly as the car would take me. I could feel myself hitting the bumper here and there, but that was a small price to pay in the face of whatever these dudes had planned for me. Hey, get back here! We're gonna get you fixed up! I heard someone yell over my engine. Come on, you're so close! Another voice hollered. And then, nothing. I bucked back out onto the main road. I shifted into drive and blasted towards town. Thankfully, the car was operating better than it ever had. Like that off-road session had corrected some of its own issues. Whatever the case, I'm thanking God that I didn't get caught up in whatever the hell was going on back in those woods. It didn't even occur to me until I got back back into town that I should probably call the police. I looked back in my messages, and of course, Simon had blocked me. I figured he was staying on the phone, which was probably just some kind of thing. Thankfully, I got back home without any incident. I wanted to just go back to bed and sleep it all away. But I was so riled up from that experience. I ended up calling the police and checked the report. I didn't do any kind of follow-up or anything. But in my gut, I'm assuming that they found
What
me.
you doing?
I keep an eye on the public bookings. People get picked up for various jobs. I saw Simon in names 1 week. Only time I ever saw it. The last names didn't match what we had before, but the whole Facebook account was just a lure. Or so I believe. To get girls like me to go out into the woods. And the scariest part of it all, the guy almost got me. A few years ago, my husband and I turned onto the minimalist lifestyle. That is, if you don't know, retain a base minimum of belongings. And don't over-encumber yourself or your home with excessive amounts of stuff. We were knick-knack types, collectors, and for whatever we thought was cool or even unique. Each windowsill in our house had different charms or minerals on display. No surface went undecorated the entire time we were together, up until the introduction of this whole minimalism idea. Once we learned about it, we started selling all kinds of stuff. Facebook Marketplace became a passive form of income for us, but we still weren't fully satisfied. After the first year, all the knickknacks and small collections were gone, but we still felt like our house had way too much stuff. I sold a bunch of my craft gear that I wasn't using anymore. My husband sold out tools and outdoor gear that he never used. We started to plan out what we were going to do with all the money that we saved as well. It was only like $500, but at the rate we were going, it would turn into a nice little chunk of change. More than enough to take some kind of nice vacation. We wanted to empty out even more of our belongings. See if we could get the money pile up to $1,000. I was starting to sell some of my collector items, like antique chinaware, paintings, and things I largely considered just extra. My husband was on a mission to move his big 11-piece Pearl drum kit. He played a bit in college. It was just one jam band that maybe had a half a dozen shows throughout his life. But for some reason, he always held on to that drum set. In the back of his mind, he always wanted to come back to it. But now, 10 years had gone by. He hadn't so much as even picked up a stick during that whole hiatus. He didn't realize that the drum kit was really just a dream. It was something that needed to go. We came up with a fair price and added it to our ever-evolving Facebook Marketplace offering. It was the highest mark item at the time, and was going to make more than double the amount of savings that we accumulated. We started to get some bites, but they were mostly just offers that my husband wasn't interested in entertaining. People wanted to make trades or payments, or just make lowball offers in general. My husband wasn't having it, stuck firm on the price. He knew what that kit was worth, and he'd already moved the price down significantly. The price was right, and now he was needing to wait for the better buyer. A week or so later, I was home alone. I had the day off. I was going through my normal morning routines when I saw that I had a notification. Someone had commented on the post about the drum set. He said it looked great. It had an amazing price and would love to come take a look at it. He ended his comment by asking if he could send us a DM, to which I replied yes.
Meow.
That's what I was doing. The laundry or the dishes, something like that. Then called my husband Mitchell. Hey, someone commented on your drum set, I said. Does he seem serious? He asked. I can't tell yet. He just commented on it. But he's the most serious person so far. He wants to come take a look at it. What time are you going to be home? I don't know. Mitchell stammered through the phone. He was a site manager, and they were putting up a new building. His hours during this project could vary. I'm not really sure. So if he's wanting to see it this morning or even afternoon, and you feel comfortable, go ahead and let him come by and take a look at it. The price is fair. It's just purely a quality check of year, the make, the model, and symptoms of the issues that I was having. That kind of thing. He gave me the address to his garage and the time that I should arrive. Everything felt professional for a guy that I just found online. So I was even more involved with getting it all done and finally over with. I told Simon thank you so much for your time and I would see him tomorrow. The address that he gave me was about a half hour away, on the side of town that I wasn't super familiar with. He told me to be there by 10 a.m., and I didn't want to be late. so I planned on leaving at 9. That never happened though. I woke to my phone buzzing around 5 in the morning. The silence. He said that his day had been thrown off schedule because he had an appointment later on in that day that he forgot about. He didn't want to leave me hanging. He asked if there would be any way possible that I could bring the car to him now, so we could at least take a look. I didn't work today, was already awake, and plus, I just needed this to happen already. I told him I would be there as soon as possible. He sounded super excited, said goodbye, and I started getting ready. I blasted to a shower, put some clothes on, and scarfed down this microwavable breakfast, and hit the road. I knew that the sun was up yet. I coasted along until I knew where the road was, and it wasn't until I went past that last stoplight that I realized I wasn't even in the neighborhood anymore. There's still houses out here, but there were big empty lots, full of grass. So I hung up the phone. I caught in line though, a skill that I picked up
Hello, Alan.
summer. He walked right into it, and I couldn't tell why.
Hello, baby.
That he didn't want me to know about.
Hello.
The road came up and I turned into what was a big dusty turnout along the road. From there, we were in
Look at that cute little face.
that snaked off into
You
the forest.
cute.
My gut sank almost
You
immediately.
cute. Yes,
This
you
was the
are.
narrow road that led to a residence.
Stop Jack's heart, they would stop the breathing. And so they raised the hammer and began pounding on Jack's chest. And after that, the bleeding did slow down. And the four killers worked together to wrap Jack's body in plastic. Then, once he was all wrapped up, they carried him outside and loaded his body into the back of the dump truck. The killer who had first answered the door, the calmer of the killers, got in the driver's seat of the dump truck. And the nervous killer, the one who had been tapping their foot, the one who had initially
The interesting shopper was Sabrina Lee from Church. She said she liked collecting vintages and couldn't wait to add the comics to her collection. She offered me $600 cash. I should have been more suspicious, but I was excited about the sale. I told her to come by around 7. Sabrina didn't care what.
Really had collected a healthy layer of dust. I wanted it looking good for whenever this guy came around. If Mitchell came home and I had things sold, boy, he'd be happy. After I got it dusted and shined up, I went and took a shower. I still had plenty of time before Ryan was supposed to show up.